Hi, I'm Stavros. Good morning and welcome to the London Motor Show here at Battersea Park in London. So it's my first time attending this year's show, so let's go around and have a look and see what this show has to offer. I'm joined now by Ian Sanderson, who's going to tell you all you need to know about this fantastic Lightning GT. So Ian, you are building this car. Can you tell us all about it, please?
Yeah, it's a new car from the ground up, new chassis, new drivetrain, and the idea behind it was to give people what they want in a car: performance, looks and style, but emission-free at point of use, and great fun to drive.
And you won Car of the Show in Birmingham in 2008.
Yeah, the one Car of the Show in a long time ago now, but it's been work in progress ever since, and the sister car is on the road every day, and top speed unknown, well over 175, incredibly quick, great fun to drive, and I say, brings a smile to your face, and of course, emission-free at point of use, so you feel good about it as well.
And Ian, when will people be able to order this car?
Well, it's been a tough journey, but we'd like to think that with the current investment talks we have in all parts of the world, we should be able to go into production by end of next year. It was very important, the back end of the car. We tried to keep it simple, clean line, lovely waistline, nice buttresses. Others have tried to copy it, notably Jaguar with the F-Type, but an imitation is a sincere form of flattery. But I think we got it right, and with a splitter down there without the pipe, people think it is a conventional engine car, but actually it's pure electric, so there are no emissions. But we made it look as sexy and as interesting as possible, so that most cars you see from the front and you think, wow, great. The back you go, oh, not so good. This car, we designed it so that we try to make it look good from every angle. Lots of curves, straight lines. It's a wonderful looking car.
And what sort of price point are we talking in?
Well, that depends on the volume and the depth of the funder's pockets, but between 150 and 200,000 pounds.
Right.
It also depends on battery chemistry, range, and other factors. But an expensive car, but then it's a good-looking car, and it's a car you want to drive.
What about the interior features, Ian? What would they be?
Well, we're going to go fairly lean on that.
Yeah.
Give a driver the information they need. It's a driver's car after all.
Yeah.
But decent-sized screen inside for the usual different information systems now one has to have in every car.
Yeah.
But apart from that, no. We'll have one interesting aspect. We'll have a range protector we developed, which enables you to postcode where you're going to, and then the car will help you manage yourself getting there on the amount of power you have in the batteries.
All right.
So like a range protector. Mm-hmm. So if you want to go somewhere 300 miles and the car's got 200 miles of batteries, it'll tell you where your next recharging point is, how long, how book a space for you there, etc. It's pretty futuristic stuff.
And of course, with charge points being more accessible nowadays, this could well be the future. And I did take a spin in a Tesla Model S over at the Isle of Man, and I can tell you that if this is anything to go by that power, it's they are
This
fast.
is about the same performance as Tesla. Incredibly quick. We were driving the other day, and we ran out of room at about 175 on a runway, of course.
Fantastic. So Ian, thank you very much for that, and we'll go around and have a closer look at this fabulous car.
Thanks so much.
Great. So Clive Sutton has a very nice selection of cars here. We start off with this one. It's a Dodge Ram 1500 Eco Diesel. Big 4x4 that. And we move on to this one. The Ford Mustang CS 500. Looking fantastic, black on black. With those smoked rear lamps. Looks very well indeed. And onto this one, the Ford LDBD Platinum. And it has a fold down step when you open the door also. And onto the Chevrolet Camaro SS 6.2 litre. Very nice. And onto this Dodge Ram 1500 5.7 litre Hemi engine in that. And here we have a Chevrolet Suburban next to a Cadillac Escalade. And they are big cars. That is a very nice lineup of cars from Clive Sutton. Here we have two very nice Land Rover Defenders. The first one is by Can. It's called the Flying Huntsman 6x6 pickup. And it's very costly at £150,000. So you may like to consider the model beside it, which is a pretty much more reasonable £63,000 Land Rover Defender. Very nice. Given that production has now ceased, you may wish to consider one of these cars. It's time now to make our way inside, where Tiff Needell, who used to be on Top Gear, is going to have a chat with Ben Collins, who was the former Stig on Top Gear. So let's go inside now and have a look at that chat.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the London Motor Show, which a year ago was just a dream in a madman's eye, who asked me to be the honorary president of the London Motor Show. Not quite sure I was there for. I've done nothing at all to create this amazing thing that is happening today. The London Motor Show to me as a little kid was going to Earl's Court, where you can get close to all the cars in a nice simple open area. And I think they've had a huge success in taking this back to that very same feeling. The manufacturers started getting these huge stands at Motor Show, and it all got out of hand, got too expensive, then the manufacturer left us with no London Motor Show. So now it's back, and I hope you're enjoying it. It's a little bit warm, but never trust the English weather to be cool when you want it to be cool and hot when you want it to be. So I hope you're having a great time. I will announce this is officially a Clarkson-free zone. A fat git sitting on his wallet somewhere, counting his Amazon money. But Fifth Gear, of course, we're still going Friday nights, just about. Haven't been recommissioned yet, so hopefully you still watch Fifth Gear. And some new ginger Top Gears turning up, apparently, which will be like the one show on wheels, I think. But one thing when I was sacked from Top Gear, when they closed the show down in about 2002, we created Fifth Gear, and about a year later, the new Top Gear came up with Jeremy, James, and Richard. Well, no, not Richard, of course, in those first couple of years. And of course they created, instead of being a proper racing driver, as I was the original Top Gear tame racing driver, they created this Stig theme. And lots of people, everybody I've met in about the last 15 years said, "You were the Stig, weren't you?" No, I was not the Stig. I'm still going to answer it now. I was not part of that fictitious TV programme. I was on Fifth Gear and never the Stig. However, we do have one of the fired Stigs with us today. He would say he wasn't fired, of course. Please welcome to the stage, ladies and gentlemen, Ben Collins.
Good afternoon.
Wow. How do you describe yourself as the white Stig then in your former life?
Yes, I followed in your footsteps of wrecking cars, trashing rubber, generally having a good time. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see which show is reborn out of the ashes.
But the sad thing, ladies and gentlemen, really is you're sitting looking at two people that all we ever wanted to do in lives was to be racing drivers. That's what I wanted to be, and I was very lucky. I had a career, got up to Formula 1, I did Le Mans many times. Ben as well, that's all he wanted to be, was a racing driver. We got to Formula 3, won races, got into Le Mans sports cars like myself. But they ended up, in order to earn money, we've had to become TV tarts. Do you feel a bit depressed sometimes, Ben, that you're on stage?
I felt very depressed. I saw the lovely sunshine and this amazing car show, and I felt very perky after that. I don't know, I mean, I love your story about Nigel Mansell. I never forget that story. And you did reach out and touch him in the end, though, in a touring car race, which was you're famous for this.
Yes, we'd have a small altercation at Donington Park. I didn't mention that. Nigel was here yesterday. And I was terrified when I got asked the questions that someone would say, "What about Donington Park when you knocked him into the brick wall?" And luckily nobody asked that question, so I didn't get too embarrassed. But your racing career, what stopped you? Just money and why you won in Formula 3? You know, you got to Le Mans.
I still try, I still work at the racing. I didn't race last year, but the year before I was in the World Endurance Championship, went to Le Mans, got Ferrari's fastest lap. I was very pleased with myself, lining up for a podium until I broke the gearbox. So there's always something, and Le Mans is, it's a bit of a crapshoot because you get with an amazing team, you've got a great car, you've got a chance of winning, and then you're in a chance of winning the lottery, which is to get to the end. In the old days, it used to be champagne in the pit stops. These days it's every lap is a qualifying lap, and you push the absolute maximum. I do miss it. If I'm lucky, I might get back in one, but maybe it's too late. I'll stick with Project Cars, which is just as good as the real thing.
So how did the Stig thing come up? So Perry McCarthy was the first Stig, the black Stig, who went and sold his story to the Sun newspaper and got fired off an aircraft carrier, I believe, didn't he? How did you get the gig? Did you have to audition for it, or did someone know you and got you in there? I thought it was a good model that Perry devised there. He was there for quite a short period of time. Perry loves chatting and getting his picture taken, which didn't work well for an anonymous racing driver. And I got an audition. I wrote in to Top Gear about getting the job, thinking I had very little chance of getting it, but they took me down as the boss of the show at the time. It was Andy Wilman. If you've ever met him, he's this shambolic looking, middle-aged man where everything sort of needs to be lassoed in with a belt. His papers were exploding onto the floor. And he stood there with a stopwatch and just said, "Go on then, get at it and see what time you can do." So I beat Perry's time, which I didn't realise at the time, because Andy was one of those people that loved to keep you dangling, as he did with audiences for the last 10 years or longer. So I got the job 3 months later, and he said, "Come down next week, we'll do some filming." So and that was how I started. But how hard was it to walk around that flipping crash helmet on all day, go to exhibitions in halls? It must have been pretty horrendous at times.
It was warm. For me, it wasn't. You get used to wearing racing outfits. I think occasionally it was horrendous for some of the guests. It was the peak of the summer, I think in 2004. I'd forgotten to take my racing suit back, and I couldn't just drop it at the dry cleaners because obviously you've got to identify yourself. So I was very secretive, and I'd left it in a bag in my car, and I came back and it was absolutely feral, and it smelt of mushrooms. A fungus had grown all over the back. And it was the one that didn't fit well. It was too tight in all the wrong places. And that day we had to take Jordan for a lap. And I thought, she's just going to smell me coming a mile away. So I thought I'd try to stay back as much as possible. And then sort of wrestled with her safety belts for obvious reasons. And just trying to keep my distance. And she very politely pretended not to notice that I stank of mushroom. And I taught her, and she did quite well actually.
Now, of course, you've written a book about those Stig days, and you've got another book coming out now we'll talk about later about driving, but obviously in the book it's all about the celebrities you met being the Stig. What was the greatest thrill for you? Because you were meeting some huge stars of stage and screen.
It was amazing. I was very starstruck in the beginning, and met Christian Slater, and my mouth stopped working initially, and then I felt the security of the helmet. They can't sit in, they're sort of frightened. You're like a Darth Vader character. So that was quite confidence inspiring, and then you get to meet these amazing people, and the mischievous part of you comes out, and you want them to do extremely well. But
just to clear up, this is maybe you don't understand that before the celebrity does their fast laps, the Stig teaches them how to drive. That's really how Ben got to know these celebrities. How much time did you spend teaching them before they went for their lap time?
Well, luckily for them, they never saw my face, so this was great. So then we actually sort of met. It was sort of a handshake through a glove. They would get shoved out onto the airfield, and I get about 20 minutes of coaching. Really, people who'd never driven a racing car, let alone a Suzuki Liana with a roll cage, around the Top Gear lap, and then sort of set them free. So they'd go and drive on their own, which is always that moment when the producer's knees start to knock together. None more so than Tom Cruise, who was actually my last guest with Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz. She was faster than him initially in the rain, so he came back when it thawed out a bit. Got his helmet on, and he's the most determined man you'd ever meet, and I was telling him where to brake and brake later and smash over the curbs producers were sort of tapping him on the shoulder saying, stop teaching him to we've got a huge insurance premium. And as if they, for them almost, he tilted through this last corner, hit these curbs that I told him to cut, went up onto 2 wheels, and I thought, this is it. This is the moment he rolls over and dies, catches fire, and I get sacked. But he landed it, and if the car's going up on 2 wheels and you've never done it before, it's quite frightening. And I could hear him just playing with the throttle, which is really remarkable. And he set the fastest time, so it was great to see him go.
Because we should point out to the children in the front row that he's not really the Stig, he's someone pretending to be the Stig. We all know the Stig doesn't talk, so just don't want to spoil it for the children.
Exactly.
Totally.
And then, the Stig lives on, he's immortal.
He is indeed. I don't know, we have a 4th Stig coming up.
Taking a look at the Jaguar F-Pace here. Check out the front badge on this. This is all smooth here. Seems like a strange solution, but there must be sensors behind there. That is the Jaguar F-Pace for £43,000. And beside it we have a Jaguar XE for £38,000. And a very nice F-Type S for £75,000. Very nice. And here we have Range Rover Sport SVR. These are very expensive, £115,000 for one of these, but they are very fast. And the Evoque convertible. Let's just have a quick look inside here. This is £48,000.
This one I didn't think.
With the Range Rover Evoque convertible. And beside it we have a Discovery. Here we have Volvo just demonstrating their stop assist function.
This looks dangerous, Phil. I've got no runoff. I've got no gravel trap. I mean, it's entirely hazardous.
You're most used to barriers and all sorts, aren't you? Most hate tarmac. I'm going to ask you to do something that's going to feel like alien. I'd like you to drive
The diesel.
You got another F? Is that a diesel, ladies and gentlemen?
Right. Hopefully we'll have a clean sound.
First gear, constant speed, 15 miles an hour, something like that. Straight at the vehicle ahead of us. You haven't noticed it, car's going to stop.
I can't see anything. Is there something up ahead? I can't see nothing at all. What am I doing?
And there we go.
It's
Accident, saved.
This is Toyota's hydrogen fuel cell car called the Mirai. So it mixes hydrogen with oxygen that creates electricity that powers the electric motor. So very nice car today, about twice the price of a Toyota Prius. So quite an expensive car, but an awful lot of technology packed into this car. We've seen this car in top marks in Monaco. It's the Aston Martin Vengeance by Can, and it's based on the Aston Martin DB9. So 510 brake horsepower. Very nice car indeed, by Can. And as we make our way inside, we have another fuel cell car called the Rasa, and that's it there behind me. So we'll take another look around here and see what this show has to offer. So there's Fords over there, we've got a Mitsubishi Outlander here, electric vehicle, and we have a BMW M4, BMW i8, and making our way we have Ford Edge, Ford Focus, Audi, the new Audi A4 Avant and Saloon. And we'll take a quick look around here. Nissan GT-R, very nice, very nice. Next to a Nissan Leaf, of course. All electric vehicles, a lot of electric vehicles here. So there's the back of the Leaf. Let's make our way over here to Alfa Romeo. Have an Alfa Romeo 4C and a Fiat 500 Abarth, and Alfa Romeo 4C there. Very nice cars them. So let's keep on walking here. We also have Mazda and MG, and we have Mazda over there with various models on display, and we have a couple of Volkswagens here, the new Volkswagen Touareg and the Golf GTE over there too. So let's walk in here, because we have an absolutely fabulous Rolls-Royce Dawn to show you here. This car is just incredible. Take a look at this. That is absolutely fantastic with its orange interior. Absolutely fantastic. And over beside the Rolls, just make our way over here, we've got the Bentley Bentayga. Very nice also. And we have over here on the Aston Martin stand, we have a DB9, we have a Vantage GT8. They're fairly rare at the moment, them. And Aston Martin Vanquish, Volante. And over behind it, a V12 Vantage S over there. So just keep on walking here. We have a Maserati Ghibli diesel here. Yeah. And beside it we have Ferrari 488 GTB Spider. And beside that, Lamborghini Huracan Spider. Very nice car that. One of those was taking part in last week's Gumball 3000. So over on the McLaren stand, what a lineup we have here. We have the 570 GT. Absolutely fantastic. Next to the McLaren 650S. And over here we have a 675 LT Spider. And these are fairly rare at the moment. Anybody want to guess how much this car's worth? Well, try £285,000. Very expensive car. Let's just have a quick look at the interior of the 570 GT. You can see the way the rear tailgate opens upwards, and depending on what country you live in, that will open the other way as well, depending on what side the steering wheel is on. your 570 GT. So we're just in a smaller hall next to the main hall, and we have beside us a David Brown Sportback GT, absolutely fantastic, next to a Audi R8 V10. So as we make our way down through the hall, we have some Vauxhalls on our left. We have Infiniti showing a few models there on the right, and over here we have another Cadillac Escalade from Clive Sutton next to this fantastic Shelby GT 500. Absolutely fantastic, this car, and well worth a look if you ever get to see one in the flesh. Next to a Mustang CS700, looking very nice in this yellow here. And next to that, a Dodge SRT, very nice also. Now over here we have a 1920 Sunbeam from 1920. This car won the land speed record in 1925. And that was at 150 miles per hour, just over 150 miles per hour back in 1925. And another classic Bentley beside it. So we shall make our way back out now. We're just back in the main hall again. Just passing out the McLarens. What a lineup. Look at that. That's just incredible. Absolutely fantastic. So we will make our way back outside. So that is where I will leave you from the 2016 London Motor Show here at Battersea Park, as we just walk by a replica of the land speed record car. So that is it. I will leave you now, and a very nice show here at Battersea Park, and a quick show to get around as well. It's not very big in size. So I hope you enjoyed that tour, and thank you all very much for watching, and I will talk to you again next weekend. Cheers. Yeah, you gotta love London traffic. I've done about 6 miles in an hour. Lovely.